Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of the LolFish podcast. I am LolFish and I'm joined by Lolcal Central. And today we are doing a special NFL fantasy mock draft episode where we're going to go through a mock draft and kind of talk about our picks and maybe some fantasy strategy for you guys out there.
I
I'm
already picked Jamar Chase.
okay. Do you want to talk about your
Second
pick a little
pick.
bit?
I mean, it's pretty self explanatory. He's the second best receiver after Justin Jefferson. Either him or Cooper Kupp, but, you know, if a young guy with Joe Burrow, and pretty self explanatory when it comes to that. So that's why I picked him.
Yeah, in your opinion, if you had the first pick, would you go Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think any running back should be considered for like a top 3 pick. Maybe Eckler, but
right. Yes, just for
I don't know.
context, in this mock draft, Locale Central is picking second. I will be picking sixth. Um, but yeah, with my pick, I went with Travis Kelsey. I usually don't go tight end early. I usually wait a little bit, but I decided to go and get Travis Kelsey, just kind of, get the tight end spot out of the way. He's kind of the one that I liked. I mean, Kelsey is very, very important to the Chiefs offense, and every year, he puts up good fantasy numbers. So I'm okay with taking a Travis Kelsey at the sixth pick.
But yeah, I think should be a wide receiver heavy draft early,
Yeah,
as opposed to running backs.
yeah, I do agree with you on that. I feel like a lot of the picks in the first round will be, um, wide receiver, because you can get a lot of good running backs later.
Yep.
Here, as I take Jonathan Taylor. Honestly, at this spot, I was I like AJ Brown. I had him last year on my fantasy team, and he did really, really well for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown's obviously a beast. DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, they're all beasts. But I decided to go Jonathan Taylor, and hopefully that won't come back to bite me. But it's a mock draft, it's a good spot to test things out.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Debo. I like Debo. There's obviously, durability concerns because they use him as a running back as well. But I like him.
Yeah, Debo, like you mentioned, he can potentially, there is some injury risk there with the amount of ways that he's used in the 49er offense. But, he at the same time, if he doesn't get hurt, then he could be a very, you know, big and important piece, for somebody's fantasy team.
I picked ETN second. I'm a big ETN guy. I like, Trevor Lawrence and ETN together. And ETN's pretty good in the receiving game as well, so could be a dual threat kind of thing there.
I'm actually going to go out of the box and take Josh Allen here.
I thought about taking him.
There's not really I didn't want another running back. In terms of wide receivers, I'm gonna be hurting a little bit, but I get a guy in Josh Allen who every week could, go out and get you 25, 30, or more fantasy points. He runs it, he's a good thrower. They have a good offense. So that's why I went with that pick there.
Another guy on the screen that, you know, is pretty good. That could be a pretty good pick for this year is Calvin Ridley on Jacksonville. Um, he's back from his suspensions with betting on games, and especially with the emergence of an MVP candidate such as Trevor Lawrence. I think he could do some damage this year.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. Calvin Ridley is kind of my. I don't know if you would consider him a sleeper because he's going kind of in like round 4 or 5, but yeah, I definitely feel like he is going to be big for this Jacksonville team, and I feel like he can definitely, with Trevor Lawrence, be able to put up some pretty good numbers and especially help out a lot of people in fantasy this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I was also looking at Amari Cooper there, but I think I will go with Christian Watson. um, I'm a Packer fan, so obviously I gotta take a Packer, right? So I mean, Christian Watson, he showed a lot of flashes last year that he can definitely be a playmaker for this offense. Jordan Love's gonna have to throw to someone, and why not Watson?
Yeah.
I feel like Watson could definitely have a decent season and definitely could have a fantasy impact. A couple names here though that are coming up: Scary Terry, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, in my opinion, are ranked pretty low.
Yeah. I had a team last year that had Godwin and Scary Terry on the same team and Devontae Smith. And I think Terry is really good. Good option to have, and that's why I'm gonna pick Chris Godwin again. Pretty stacked at wide receiver right now on my
Yeah,
team, I think.
at this point, I'm kind of thinking about taking another receiver. Some that stand out: Mike Williams, Mike Evans, just to name a couple of them. Keenan Allen, I'm not really high on just because of his injury risk, and we don't know how many games he's going to play. Deontay Johnson isn't a bad option, but honestly, I'm thinking I'm going to go with Mike Evans. Just because, like I said, I think he's ranked really, really low. He's still a really good wide receiver, albeit, the quarterback situation out there, but Mike Evans, they're gonna give him the ball. So I feel like he's still gonna have a pretty good fantasy impact.
Yeah, someone that could be decent this year could maybe be Kyle Pitts. Granted, everyone makes fun of him for not scoring a lot of touchdowns, but when he does play, he gets you yards. He's like the modern day Julio Jones. Not very many touchdowns, but he gets them down the field, at least in his rookie season.
Yeah, I had
Second
him.
season
I
was,
had him on one of my teams in my rookie season. I ended up winning a championship, but yeah, he only scored one touchdown that season. And I believe like it was in the London game too. But him not scoring the touchdowns kind of hurt fantasy wise. Yeah, he gave you yards, but a lot of the time, you want those touchdowns. Another player looking at this list here of the best available. If you want to wait for a quarterback, like I didn't wait for a quarterback, but if you want to take a quarterback a little bit later, I think Trevor Lawrence is a good one to take.
yeah, MVP candidate this year, I think.
Yeah,
It was
he,
last year.
he at the end of last season, he definitely showed signs of starting to live up to the number one pick and all the hype. And like you said, he's coming in as a potential MVP candidate. Hopefully he can capitalize on what we saw out of him last year.
He beat down on Justin Herbert and the Chargers in the playoffs, blew a big lead and won.
I actually went with Isaiah Pacheco with my pick just to get the second running back. Um, Pacheco was good for the Chiefs last year. I expect him to kind of be the same this year. Put up good fantasy numbers a running back too. He's not a bad option.
I mean, obviously, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Easy pick.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, if I would have waited at quarterback, I would have been eyeing Trevor Lawrence.
that was probably a reach with Jamal Williams, but
Well, he's
he's a
gonna be.
goal
He's,
line beast.
yeah, I mean, and he's gonna start the first couple weeks.
And who knows, maybe they'll just do a similar thing like what they did with Kamara and Ingram, just dual wield them the entire season. Or what the Packers are kind of doing with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Man, I'm not liking a lot of the names here.
I mean, the guy I'd go with if he had a team now would be Dalvin Cook.
I'm gonna go Christian Kirk. Kirk had a different bye week than Mike Evans and Christian Watson. I was thinking Tyler Lockett, but he had the same bye week as Mike Evans. Oh, Kirk was solid for Jacksonville last year. Maybe could have been a little bit better, but you know, like we had mentioned earlier with Lawrence, kind of being a MVP candidate this year. Hopefully that offense will be really really good, and Kirk can capitalize on that.
Yeah, it's passing league nowadays, so you know what's a name that's pretty good on there that a lot of people probably think is garbage, but I don't think he is. Is Kirk Cousins. He's consistent. He gets you points. He's a game manager, he'll get the job done.
Yeah, I like what you were saying there, that how he's consistent. He's not really a flashy name like a Mahomes or an Allen, but he's going to go out there and he's going to give you 30 plus touchdowns a season, not many picks. He's going to go out there and put up decent fantasy numbers every week, which is what you want. I'm going to reach a little bit here and take Khalil Herbert to get that third running back. A lot of the top
I
available here weren't
I
running
had him
backs.
last year when he was like taking over the starting spot. He was really good. Like he had those two big games where he had like what 200 yards or close to that.
Right. And, to get a running back, in the later rounds that's a starter is very, very helpful to your team. And Khalil Herbert will probably be the starter this year. And like you had mentioned, he had a couple games last year where he was really, really good for the Bears.
I picked Michael Thomas because they have Derek Carr now and he liked to throw the ball. And let's say their running game doesn't work out very well. He's always all reliable.
I will also bring up that we see on the right side here that somebody did take the 49ers defense in round 8, which I think is way too early.
I took Cole Komet because I needed a tight end. Um, it was either him or Alton Schultz, and either or, they could get you 10 points on any given day with a touchdown. But
Yeah, I went with Gabe Davis on my pick, kind of double dip with Josh Allen here. Gabe Davis is pretty much the wide receiver 2 in Buffalo. So if they're not throwing to Diggs, they're going to look to Gabe Davis. And yeah, just a double dip with Josh Allen too. So get those fantasy
You know,
points.
you know who could be a really good rookie here is that Quentin Johnston. He was a beast at TCU, and he could have a pretty good showing this year.
As we see a kicker taken in round 9 also. I feel like that's pretty early as well. I'm one of those people that, usually wait on defense and kicker. I won't take them as my last picks, but if it's my pick and there's not really anybody that I like, near the best available that I don't think I can get at my next pick, then maybe, I take a defense or a kicker. But yeah, I usually try to wait a little longer than what they're going at right now.
Yeah, I try to get most of my starting lineup, maybe like two bench guys before I do that. Everyone else is kind of replaceable, you know, on the bench, I think.
Now, this is kind of the spot maybe like I look at defense or kicker, which I will take the Steelers defense because they are the highest ranked.
If I didn't have Trevor Lawrence, I would go Aaron Rodgers because of the possibility with their offense.
Yeah,
But
they have a good offense, but what scares me is their offensive line. I'm actually gonna go ahead and get. I think I'm gonna take Adam Thielen here.
I like that pick. Reliable veteran.
Yeah, and he's pretty much gonna be one of the top guys on that Panther offense.
Wide receiver number one.
Yeah, and yeah, in reality, yeah, he's gonna be probably the wide receiver one. Yeah. I've taken a kind of a lot of wide receivers as of late. I'm thinking maybe taking a running back here, maybe a kicker. We'll see. We'll see what's up here. Let's go to running backs. Man, the running backs aren't that great, huh?
The Devin Singletary or, Elijah Mitchell could be pretty good because on days where Elijah Mitchell is healthy, you know,
All right, so my next pick here, maybe I take a kicker. So I'm gonna go with McPherson. Get my kicker spot out of the way here.
yeah,
Now, me
I guess
personally, I like taking a backup quarterback, maybe even a backup tight end, just to have on the bench in case anything happens. Yeah, just looking at the backup quarterbacks here. I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone that I really. I'm not taking Kyler Murray. I took Kyler Murray the last 2 years. My team. With my pick, I think I'll go with Derek Carr as my backup quarterback.
I like that pick. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I don't care what people say, saying he's, a bum. I disagree.
Yeah, it's just my personal preference. I just like to take a backup quarterback and a backup tight end.
Gus Edwards, him and J.K. Dobbins, you know, they could do some damage. And a guy that I had a couple years ago, Cordero Patterson, he was really good, but I don't know what they're going to do with him this year. So,
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how they use him. Because yeah, he was the running back, but now that they have Bijan,
I have too many wide receivers on my team. I auto picked a tight end.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm just gonna take the best tight end available, the Charger tight end here. You know what? I'll take Ezekiel Elliott.
He should be signed right now.
And I honestly I like that last pick though with Elliott, even though he's not on the team right now. It's the last pick in the draft, so it's not really gonna make or break the team. As I see you take Tom Brady, hoping for a comeback. But yeah, it's the last pick in the draft. If you have somebody you really really like who hasn't been taken yet, or a guy who's right now a free agent, um, it's a good spot to take that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Elliott could easily sign for a team and become the number one running back or even the number two running back, and to get that at the last pick would be very very good. If things pan out that way. But now that the draft's over, how do you like your team?
I mean, minus the auto picks. I mean, it auto picked like a bunch of receivers and tight ends. But the picks I made I liked. Like I personally wouldn't have picked Brown's defense.
Right. So let me pull up your team here for the people watching.
But I mean, I picked Tom Brady as a meme, you know. He won't come back. But I think my starting lineup is good. Probably has too many wide receivers. But I think it's all right. Could make some trades with that team, you know.
Yeah, in terms of my team, um, there's a lot of people that I like. There's a couple people where I'm kind of on the fence about. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Taylor, there's a lot of back and forth going on with Taylor and the Colts. So will that have any impact on the kind of season that Taylor has? Who knows? Pacheco, will he have the type of season that he had last year? Watson, is kind of, 50-50, depending on how well, Jordan Love's plays on the Packers. I like my Mike Evans pick. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going way too late. Even with, Baker Mayfield is probably their quarterback, I still think that they're going to have huge impacts on the Buccaneers and on fantasy teams. Kelsey, I actually don't mind. Like I said, I usually don't take a tight end early, but I changed it up a little bit this time and took Kelsey. And in terms of the rest of my team, I like it. I got a good defense, good kicker. My bench, has Herbert. I like the wide receivers on my bench, and my Elliott pick at the end there could definitely turn out to be something. But yeah, I think it was pretty successful mock draft.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed our special fantasy football mock draft video here. If you guys want to in the comment section, you guys can comment and give us a grade for our teams. Who are some of your sleepers, some of the players you're targeting this year, or even the players that you want to stay away from. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider clicking that like button, consider clicking that subscribe button. As always, my link to my channel and Local Central's channel will be in the description if you want to check out our individual personal channels. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next podcast episode.